Did you see that one?
Oh, David. Hi, Gene. How you doing? Doing well.
That looks amazing.
Sir Russ, we call you.
I really thought once that stuff came off, it was gonna look horrible. It was amazing. And like, it really just makes the whole area look so much nicer.
How's it going? Pretty good.
I don't know what it's like.
Got a good day on the golf course. Yeah, it's kind of hard to too upset about anything. You got a good day on the golf course.
But at least, you know, I think that probably raised the property value of that house by like 20
I'm
grand.
trying to make it 6 months of an activity around the
Yeah,
house,
yeah.
trying to clean things up.
From what I haven't seen it, but I've heard.
I did the minimum.
How are you doing on the retreat?
8 or 9 years.
I'm okay, every so often, like today I was pulling weeds.
I think it's only into it.
My lanai and my hedgerow, that's what built up.
Nah, it hasn't been that long.
Negative
It
in
seemed
my
long.
left arm, my suture went.
It's only been,
Oh, yeah, don't do that.
because I've only lived
Use
here
your right hand.
for like 7, 8, and those people lived there for a long time while I was.
You just, you gotta stay on top of it.
You know, I was, and obviously considerably less issue.
Because I know,
It's not actually.
it's
Water with a driveway one time, actually had hammer. And I couldn't quite hit it straight on, and I kind of went in kind of with my wrist.
no.
Actually,
You're talking about the orange house, the one with the five, right? No, that was
okay.
that was a couple
I
that
had
had
a
a son.
tingling sensation.
It was Teresa
3 or 4 months before I got rid of it.
Meadows and something Meadows.
I went to the doctor.
They were nice people. It's just when they left the house.
When the doctor opened me up, he said, "I'm pretty honest, I had scar tissue just wrapped up."
Yeah, I think.
No, I can still just, I'm trying to get the yard.
He definitely was cleaned up. He was there for several years while I was.
It's like a little kid, like been turned loose, you know? I got all this stuff going on.
Maybe he was collecting money. Yeah, movie business or maybe he was in a business.
Yeah, it's been. The guy who owned it, he had like big family. I think they were Mormons, and they actually owned 1 or 2 lots on the lake. And then his brother lived across the street.
No, my name's Diane.
Lived
Oh,
in
okay.
the house. And I think when the economy crashed, they were in construction, and then everything just went. Yeah, I don't know about the bankrupt or not,
Carried away.
it's weird how the bicycles just been there for a long time. I'm surprised nobody like took them.
Yeah, I would have thought they were on the ball. Maybe they're junk.
Yeah. No, I didn't.
If
I come up,
Hi, Bill, you can hide. I know you. I can spot you away.
I do.
Good evening, everybody. Be a little patient with me, I'm kind of new at this, but I have great intentions. Furthering the efforts to build greater enthusiasm and participation in the community, we're going to try some new things here and see how this works. I'm really open-minded to suggestions and input from everybody else. One of the first things that we've done is we've moved the homeowner comments from the end of the evening to right after we accept the previous minutes, so that anyone who has to address the board can do so without spending the whole night here waiting on us. I invite anyone, encourage anyone to sit here and listen to the entire board meeting if they so desire as well. Everyone can speak as they're appropriately allowed to, but we like to have respect and courtesy both to and from the board, to all the participants. I think that's going to be essential. I think that's going to help build enthusiasm back in our community as well. We're going to try 30-40 minutes for homeowner comments. If we need more, we'll start to adjust the schedule as we go. And I'd politely say the comments should be about 3 minutes or less. You don't have to eat up the whole 3 minutes. So I'm going to call this meeting to order. 6:03. I think the first thing we'd like to do is introduce staff here and the new board. Most of you folks know John Baker from the previous board. John is the new board secretary. Mark King is the new board director. Both of them have significant experience in these matters and have a high contribution rate to us going forward. Good. The first item is to approve the minutes of the June 11th special meeting.
As presented?
Do we have any motions or comments for that?
Move to approve as submitted.
All in favor, say aye. 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 The June 11th special meetings have been approved. Approval of the June 23rd special meeting minutes. Do we have any comments? No? Anyone in favor? Move to approve as presented. Second. I approve as well. Those minutes are accepted. And then the June 23rd organizational minutes. Any comments? Move to approve as presented. Second. I agree. Approved. Okay. New business, Catherine? One of the areas that we had a little bit of concern was, Dave's been really great on the FC committee. When there was a violation, someone having a basketball court, we threw a $1,000 fine at them right away. I don't think that's a appropriate way to go forward, as does the other board members. We're going to try starting off with a...
Can I comment?
Please, David. Yes.
We had made a proposal to the board, which was accepted back in January, I believe it was, where we reclassified all of the violations. And basically, we divided them. Instead of one standard violation, they got a $1,000 fine regardless of what it was. We separated them into 3 categories. One is the recurring violations, which are primarily trash cans, basketball goals in the driveway, that type of thing, which can come and go, at an instant. Second classification was minor violations. The third classification was major violations. The major violations still stand at $1,000. The recurring violations, the fine is now $100, okay? And subsequent recurrences of that violation would result in another $100, up to $1,000 total. The minor violations start off at 100, then go to 200, 300, and 400. So we have made a proposal to the board back in January. It was agreed upon. We're currently in the process of having the attorney review that just to make certain there's no legal issues with it, and we want to submit that to the, I know we have implemented, by the way, that fining schedule, in agreement with what the board had suggested that we do, and we will then submit that document to, resubmit that document to the board probably in August for final approval.
Thank you, David. And
Okay.
it seems like a good course of action. Anybody here who doesn't know David, David runs the Farming and Compliance Committee. He does a heck of a good job, as does his team. It's a tough job here. You know, we want to preserve the value and the integrity of our neighborhood. And David is an outstanding contributor to North Shore and our boards. Thank you, David.
Okay, any questions?
Please.
Quick question if I might ask. So, it sounded like you said if somebody leaves a garbage can out, they get $100 fine?
Well, it boils down to is that it works with the current process. If the first inspection notes that the garbage can is out, okay, you get then a notice of warning or notice of violation, okay? There is a re-inspection then that takes place 2 weeks later. And if the garbage can is still present, then you have to go to the hearing. And after the hearing, then you get, that's when the fine is initiated.
All right, that makes sense. It almost sounded as if you were saying $100 if you left your garbage can out.
No, it goes, every time there's a hearing and the homeowner has a chance to, make amends or, give extenuating circumstances or whatever.
Perfect, thank you.
Good. Good. We're gonna jump to homeowner comments. Did anyone come here tonight to address the board? Yes.
Congratulations, Park Rank Circle. There's a house, not a wine village.
Good.
Yeah, we're happy with that.
Well,
Paint looks good, too.
good. For those of you who don't know, realize what Joe's talking about, there's a house, there's several houses in the community that are abandoned, foreclosed, or in high degree of disrepair. The house on Heartbreak Circle, about a third of the way down, the vines grew completely over the house. It looked like something from a really bad Disney movie. And we've got our landscaping crew in there this week. They filled up, I think, 5 or 6 dump trailers full of weeds and vines. You can tell there's a house there now. It doesn't look like it's haunted. It was a significant eyesore to the community and to the poor people that had to live next to it. And it's the least we can do. And we're gonna address as many of the other houses that need attention tonight going forward as we can as well. But, it didn't cost us a lot of money, Joe, and improves the community. And, it's the old broken window complex. When somebody doesn't take care of this house next to me, I'm gonna stop picking up the palm fronds from my lawn and stop watering my lawn. And, if you live next to an abandoned house or foreclosed house and their lawn is full of weeds, you're gonna have a hard time keeping those weeds out of migrating to your property. And that's where common sense just dictates. So, thank you for the kind words, and we all appreciate that. Good. Definitely.
Item number 1.
I just wanted to commend you on that as well, because it's night and day. I mean, I was a little nervous when I heard you guys were gonna pull down all the vines and stuff, because the front door was enclosed and you could kind of see the paint kind of looked weird. And I really thought when you pulled it down, it was just gonna look like a mess, but it
Well,
looks
this is the
amazing.
who did the heavy lifting, right?
No, I'm with the concrete.
You're the concrete
I was
guy.
here too, I've seen, been out here for a while, I've seen
You
the
look like the
house.
guy that was on the ladder pulling those weeds down.
No, I'm not doing it.
Okay.
I'm too heavy for
I
that.
know. So the house was so bad that the vines were thicker than my arm and had grown through the soffit of the house, through the gutters,
Yeah.
completely enclosed the roof onto the golf course. And it was a hazard and detriment, so.
It really looks amazing now. And I feel like, in my opinion, when that house does sell in foreclosure, it's gonna bring a much higher value, and that's just gonna help the entire community, right? Because when somebody builds a house at a higher value, it brings up everybody else's value. If somebody sells it lower, it's gonna lower.
Look, in trying to be good stewards of our money, it only cost us a few $100s, and we're gonna find and lien them. And I've talked to the owner of the house, and they fully expect that, and had thought we would have done it already. So they're amicable to it. They've even agreed in writing that we're gonna find and lien them against it to recoup our money. And I hopefully we don't have any, not even $1 of lawsuit.
What's the status of the pool? There's a pool in the back, isn't there?
Yes,
What's the status of it?
dump a couple gallons of chlorine into it. You know, the issue wasn't, is people moved out in the middle of the night with all the possessions there. The house would already have gone into auction, except now there has to be some legal eviction because it's so full of possessions. Some of this is beyond my legal expertise, but they hope to have it on the market by October. And it's a beautiful house and will contribute to our neighborhood. Good. Thank you. Okay, if there's no other homeowner comments, we're gonna move on to old business. Catherine?
Yes, item number 1, resident requested for the board to waive $1,000 fine for the basketball. They have concealed. I inspected the unit, the homeowner, and they have complied. Requesting a motion to waive.
I'll make a motion to waive the fine against the homeowner because of their compliance.
Okay. Okay. Okay, next item. All in favor? Okay.
Good, all in favor? Aye.
The second item is homeowner exterior cleaning, $1,000, requesting to waive the fee. They have cleaned the home, so they have complied.
Because of their compliance, I make a motion to waive that fine. All in favor? Aye. Thank you, Kevin.
Welcome. Number 3 is you.
Good. Yeah, John, you want me to take this one?
Okay, back in November, there was a motion made to do some fencing of a couple of the sport courts up here. It's come to our attention that what was approved in the motion and what the fence company now thinks their scope of work is are two dramatically different things. And, so I think we need to revisit that motion, and at this point, I'd like to make a motion to suspend any action as far as installing fences until we can, get resolution of exactly the scope, we intend to do, if any. And if we have to, to pay some restocking fees or something, if we elect not to use the fence, then, let's, negotiate a settlement. But somehow or another, they think their scope is double what the approved motion was.
Yeah, I completely concur with you, John. And this is an area that I think you'll see going forward, we're gonna try to defer a little bit and take some commentary from the community. Before we start fencing in large portions of our community, I'd like to hear what our homeowners have to say about that. We wanna make sure it's attractive, we wanna make sure it's a valuable addition to our community. We don't want visitors coming in here and having it look prison-like. And I think the decor and just the way we present ourselves is gonna be very, very important. And I think you'll see a lot more two-way debate from this board going forward on that. And, I couldn't agree with John more before we start putting up 10 feet of fencing around here, that we should look at it and debate it a little bit as well.
I have a question. What were the numbers on that? What they thought, what you thought, and what was the scope?
Well, there were a couple of different proposals presented. Back in September, a request was made to do some research, and there was a proposal that included, basically creating outfield fencing at the ball field, fencing in the basketball court.
Dugouts for the ball field.
With fencing that would match the tennis court, and then fencing in the playground area. And the aggregate of all of that was over $60,000, and I wasn't comfortable with that. And at a board meeting requested they go back and revisit the scope. Another proposal was then presented in November to only do the basketball court and a 5-foot, picket style fence that would meet our ARB rate at the playground area. But somehow, unbeknownst to anything that we can find in board minutes, the fence company thinks they're doing the ball field, which was never approved, and was under the impression that there would also be other expenditures to put card reader locks on all this stuff. And I can't find anything in the minutes that would suggest that that was ever approved by the board. So reining that in and gonna get it audited and figure out exactly what we as a community wanna do.
Hey, what was approved, how much?
What was approved was 23,000 round numbers for the basketball court and a picket fence at the top.
And how much has already been like given away, you said something about restocking thing?
We've already given about $17,000 in deposits. The scope of work is undefined, there's no purchase order. Even more of concern to us is, in the file, there's no 3 bids and 3 quotes. And we want to be good stewards of everyone's money, and something as commoditized as a fence, we want to put it out to bid, and all things equal, look at the best financial investment. So it's a pretty significant expense, and we want to look at it from a aesthetic standpoint as well. John has a lot of construction expertise. It's one of many great skills he brings to the board. We're going to check out this fencing, see if we can return it, see if it's needed. If we have to eat it, maybe we can use it someplace else in the community. But we're just going to put it on hold pending significant further discovery. And I second your motion, John, that we put it on hold. All in favor? Aye. That's unanimous. Good.
Would you accept one comment from a homeowner?
Of course we will. We invite and encourage comments, please.
Originally, I came just to observe, because my son's working on a Boy Scout merit badge, and he's got to attend some kind of formal meeting. But the ball field over here, I've used a couple of times, and what would make it more attractive to somebody like myself, my daughter plays travel ball, is the fencing. There's occasionally there are people from outside the community that come on, so some kind of fencing would be great from my perspective. But something cheap that you could add, I think you'd get a lot of parents with their kids out there. It would just be like a 20 batting cage, which probably wouldn't be a lot of money.
When you say fencing, how tall of a fence are you talking about? Are you talking about
I
the
put
outfield?
something like a lower fence,
On the outfield?
like a 5-6 foot fence or whatever's around most of the fields. A 10-foot fence just is,
Yeah.
It's way too tall.
no, whatever the normal size fence is. And I just go with the batting cages. You get a lot, because you drive by here and occasionally you see a dad out pitching to a son, chasing balls all over the place.
It's kind of nice to see, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, it's great, and you see, a couple of parents down on the side over here doing some pitching with their daughters.
Well, one of the things that we're gonna do forward is we're gonna put out a survey to the residents of the things that are of interest to everybody. So certainly we can include a batting cage, we can include fencing. We've heard everything from a little sand volleyball court back here to a dog park. And then we have to talk about real concerns like cameras on the gates. What are we gonna do to alleviate the school backup and things like that? But, we're very, very open-minded to some consensus input as well. You're the first person to ask for batting cages, but you've articulated that very nicely, and we'll make sure that gets included on the survey going forward, too. It's a fine line between fencing in everything and guarding our community. And for those of you who used our pool, we have a pool attendant named Chris who's doing a heck of a great job, who's probably chased 40 people a week away from our pool, so that our residents can use and enjoy the pool. At the same instance, we're not an island, and it's a delicate balance in between, for sure. I came in over here to work out yesterday morning and saw some fella I knew from the Y on the swing set in the playground with his 3 kids. I said, "Hey, Ralph, did you move here? Welcome to the neighborhood." And he goes, "No, I live in Lost Park Reserve, but I bring my kids over here to play every week." And I said, "That's great, Rob, but you're not gonna be able to do that." And this is a guy I've probably seen at the Y for 6 years. So we have some beautiful houses for sale, maybe you'd like to come in and see our great community, but you can't come use the pool or the playground anymore. And he got it, but there's probably 100 times of those that we don't catch, that we're trying to, so, thank you. Welcome to the neighborhood too. And good luck with your Boy Scout badge.
Thank you.
Good. Kathleen? Good, please.
So number 4, we have Jeremiah from ICI. He has conducted a site inspection and inspected the property for concrete repairs. He has presented pictures and a proposal, which you have in your, here, you want me to share it?
Sure.
Okay, so.
It might be here somewhere.
Here you go.
Yeah, the stack.
Oh, you have it?
Yeah, the stack is going exponentially.
Okay, that's fine. We did already the wave.
Yeah, yeah, I get it.
We have one more waving.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Go ahead.
so, Jeremiah?
How y'all doing? My name is Jeremiah Hughes, Hughes Concrete. Been working out here since
Yeah,
2010.
come on up here, so everyone, you can look at everyone in the eye.
Okay.
Good, stand over there next to the lady.
Jeremiah Hughes, Hughes Concrete. Been working here with First Choice for 10 years. First service, for 10 years. For 2 years here, and it's been a pleasure and everything. And came in here with Tim Quinlan back in 2010. We had some problems with the concrete lifting for trip hazards. And the insurance came up and they did all the picture taking and the marking and everything. And it was a surprise to the community about getting it fixed and everything. And they were being prorated. Had a maintenance person come out a few months ago and they made marks on the concrete. And then they called me up to come out and take a look at it and give them an estimate on what it costs to remove it and then take the roots out, repair them, and put them back. 99% of them is from the roots pushing the concrete up. And it's gonna be a continuing thing here, but any questions?
Yeah, I mean, your quote kind of defines what you're gonna do, but can you give us any sense of the number of locations and the square footage of concrete that's gonna be removed and
Right
replaced?
It's, you're looking at 9,000, I've actually took about 25% off from the maintenance gentleman that went before me. Because anything he saw that barely lifted, or any, like maybe an expansion joint that's gone, that he put in there that I didn't think needed to be done, I didn't do it, because usually more, if it's, I was always told with the insurance companies and for the lawyers, if it's more than an inch, they're gonna get you. Because it's a 1/4 inch per foot, so if that thing's up higher than an inch and they trip, well then there's a case for a lawsuit or something like that. So if it was more than an inch, I went from it. There's a few that's caved in from irrigation. You can tell they've been repaired, but just it settled, which that's very, very few. There's about 9,000 square feet there. And like, that's for like to, you know, and I'm trying to take care, because the first one was a lot too, back in 2010, this is definitely doubled than 2010's job. There's things that we're gonna be doing is like trying to make sure I'm gonna have a water truck out here, so we're saw cutting, that we're not throwing a whole bunch of dust up in the area, in the community. There's been a few times I've been out here where we had just do small stuff that was like real bad, that was a real bad trip hazard. We ran in here, but we're gonna have a water truck so we could saw with not a lot of dust, because the noise is bad enough. We'll remove the concrete. We're gonna take the roots out, repair any irrigation, any phone lines, cable lines, the wireless dog wires, we'll repair all that if it's damaged and everything, and then put the concrete back.
Good. Jeremiah, have you been working for us before?
Since 2010 I've been in here.
Good, okay. You did some work in one of our neighborhoods, and one of the residents complained that after you tore up the sidewalk, you'd stacked the concrete on their grass, and the grass died, maybe for the lime content. So if you would, make sure going forward, maybe you
Okay.
stack it on the street side instead of on the grass.
That's the only side I can think of, because I never cross into the homeowner's backside of the sidewalk. If I do stack concrete,
It
it's
was
gonna be
on
on
the sidewalk and the street.
the curves, correct. I try to stay off their property as much as I can.
Good.
When I saw cut towards the street.
Good.
Everything's, and like if there's a car in the way, I try to get it moved, or I'll put something over the car, or something like that, but usually a lot of time I get the car moved. Everything's been real nice out here. You know, I do have stuff where we do break an irrigation line, or a dog, things like just get, you know, Catherine, give me a call, I'll run back out here and I'll fix it right away.
Good. You seem like a conscientious guy.
Yeah, I really don't try to stack. If it is, it's for maybe a few hours, it's never overnight. So I don't know how a hard piece of concrete, you know, can do it. I can maybe see maybe a little overpour when it's wet. So I really try to get that back and put the grass back as best I can and everything and help out.
Going through the pictures here, do you have something summarized to the notice here? We've got a group of pictures that are from North Shore Golf Club Boulevard, but the boulevard is a county right of way, not private like the rest of our stuff.
That's,
So is this?
I was told to
is
do
this
it. I was told to do it, and that all down through here, and that's what I did. We don't have to do it. We can take that off.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
was,
so you-
before I did with Tim Quinlan, when we did it, we had to do that. We had to repair down the the boulevard and everything.
Okay, yeah, cause the walk that's down the boulevard to county, so,
Mhm.
yeah, that's in the county.
That's fine.
purview.
I was sort of thinking that too, usually if it's behind the gate, that's when it shows, and when it's out for public use, then it's gotta be back in the county, I understand.
Exactly, so, do you have something you can quantify?
We could, yeah, I could take that off and redo the proposal, not a problem.
Okay, all right, we need to do that. I mean, other than that, you know, we've got all the backup, everything, yeah, I know, there's a red X in front of one of my neighbor's pieces, and so I know you've been out doing the research. So if we can, if we could quantify what each neighborhood is, my other question would then also be timing. I mean, how, this isn't gonna be a day's worth of work,
No.
is it?
I'm
a week,
saying,
a month, 2 months?
I would say 1 month, 1 full month, but like, we could do it where, if it's all about budgeting too, we could do a community at a time, which if we approved, if I was approving the whole thing, that's what I would've done, I'd probably done like 1 community at a time. But it'd be a steady every day, you know, wrap that one up, go to the next one, but I wouldn't move forward until that one was 100%
Right.
completed. And, you know, of course, Catherine approval, because we're gonna have, you know, the callbacks for, you know, getting something fixed or irrigation or anything like that, so. But I would foresee about a month.
All right, so Catherine, when's our next regular meeting?
Next month, the last, well, we haven't scheduled.
Yet to be done, about 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay, so we can have one at the end of July, so we'd have a couple of weeks to pull this one section out.
I could have,
Kind of
I'll be
outline it,
next week.
kind of
You'll
outline
have
a
at
schedule.
least 3 weeks, Jeremiah.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, if you could.
That'd be a
yeah,
problem, that'd
pull
help out a lot.
a short thing and kind of give us a schedule so that we can broadcast to the community when you're gonna be in each neighborhood working, and then
No
then
problem.
we'll be able to get that all through. Because we need to get it done before our insurance agent gets mad at us. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Backing up to, you're saying the county road? Now, is this, are you talking about the sidewalks and all that stuff? Is this gonna be the same thing as the different color streets thing, or?
You mean for
You know how
Baptist?
we have different color streets?
That's already been,
Oh,
that's already been,
where
that's
we-
already
where
been.
we've sealed and,
Yeah, but it's not gonna like look any different, and then my second question with that is, how long do we think the county's gonna take to get to stuff like that, or, I mean, I haven't really noticed anything that looks bad.
We noticed the county for, defective sidewalk, they have to do it fairly timely, otherwise
Okay.
they have assumed liability.
Okay.
So I'm not sure.
well, in fact, aren't you trying to set up a meeting on a different issue, and we can probably
Yeah,
piggyback?
we have a meeting with our county commissioner, Jennifer Thompson, on the 22nd.
Okay.
Quick question, one, what is the range of price on this? Is it like a $100,000 job, or?
Well, right now, with the stuff that's shown on North Shore, he's at about 73,000, so we'll have to identify how much of that's really county scope to pull out. And I'm guessing it's still gonna be somewhere in the neighborhood of $65,000 of work.
And then, you know, you talked about with the fence that they didn't get 3 quotes. No offense to you, I know you've been doing it, but are you gonna get multiple quotes for that, or have you?
Absolutely, we are. Absolutely.
It almost seemed like he's doing it for sure, and if you've been doing a good job, that's fine, I'm happy with that, but, you know, if we're complaining about one thing, not getting 3 quotes, we should get 3 quotes for everything.
We're gonna get, we're looking at doing $750 of air conditioning work in this building. Catherine's already got 3 quotes. We're gonna get 3 quotes for this. Jeremiah, if you've done a great job and people are happy with you, then obviously you get some high consideration for that. I'm deferring to John. Mr. Baker has more construction expertise than any of us. And John's gonna take the lead on these kind of projects. Make sure that he's a good steward of our money, for sure.
And then my other question in regards to this is, I think when they did it last time, they had like sanded or grinded smooth as opposed to,
That was not me, cause I do not do that. I just don't agree with, like, doing that, like, cause all that does is it's gonna keep lifting. The next year, it's gonna lift up, and then now you're going from 3.5 inches to 4 inches to 2 inches, and then there's another hazard. There's, you know, somebody steps on it and it caves in,
and it looks horrible.
and it looks horrible. Other communities,
They do that
they do
over
it all
in
the time, like,
Celebration, and it looks ridiculous.
and, yeah, that's why I really don't recommend, rather just replace the section.
Gotcha. And then, so you're gonna be cutting out some roots, how does that affect the trees?
The amount of, most of these trees here, there's one community that's newer that has the smaller ones, but those really have been a problem. Usually the ones that are having a problem, they're so established, that those roots aren't gonna, I haven't had one pass away on me yet. So,
You're not destroying the majority of the root balls so that you can.
yes, yeah, just feeder roots and everything, we take out and put back. Some people, I've read like doing a root block or something like that, but root block's good for like when the tree's first put in. Like when the community's getting, and that's when the county's in charge of doing all the sidewalks, when it's getting built, that's when the root block needs to be put in, when the tree's first put in. After roots are already there, they're really hard to get the root block down there deep enough to take an effect and everything. But usually that root when I usually saw the root out. I don't really chop, but we might chop some out, but then we'll cut back and do a straight cut, so it's a clean cut. So that root right there won't grow back, but never says another feeder might come out and take over and do it again.
Any other comments? Yes, sir.
Is most of that root damage coming from those oak trees?
Yes,
And those oak trees are not native to this section of Florida.
that's what the county makes us put in. I don't do it, but
Is that
the
what
county,
put in, or is that what the builder got because it was the
the
cheapest?
county makes them put back, from my experience doing with construction, then the county makes them, each house has gotta have at least like 1 or 2 natural tree in their property. All those trees are there is because the county requested from the builder to do it.
I think you hit the key word, 1 to 2 natural trees, and I'm not sure if those trees are native to this section of Florida.
Pretty much we got the oaks, you got the scrub oak and everything.
There's certain varieties of oak that are viable in Florida, but the county does require a certain, I think it's 2 trees have to be planted there anytime a new house is built. So we've all got those trees out there to meet county code, our houses were approved for us to live in them, but unfortunately, trees grow, and this is part of the maintenance aspect we have to deal with.
Good. So I think we're gonna table this. I'm gonna pass the lead on to this project to Mr. Baker. I can assure you he's gonna get competitive quotes. Chair Meyer, you seem like a good conscientious fellow. I like the way you explained everything here. As you redo your proposal, I would challenge you to be cognizant that we're gonna have 2 other bidders.
That's fine.
But if you've done a good job for us, we'll give you proper consideration.
No, thank you. Thank you for your time.
No, thank you, thank
Thank
you.
you for coming.
Good, okay, Catherine?
The next item is status of all pending debit collections and foreclosure. We currently have 68 accounts. At your attorney, I went ahead and reached out to Becker and Polikoff, Katzman and Wee. They are preparing a report for us, so we know which account and what's the status. So we should have that by next week.
Good. We've got some things we have to address as a house on Palmetto that's got a chain link fence around the back. It's just not appropriate for our neighborhood. The pool is a mosquito lagoon. The poor people that live next to it can't sell their house because every time someone pulls up in their driveway, they see that significant eyesore. And we're giving as much vigor as we can to address these issues.
You said it has a pool. What do you do about safety for the hooligans that might be out during the summer at night?
No,
The natural.
it's gonna change.
Well, there's the bank or somebody's put a chain link fence around it, but
Yeah, but what do
They're
you
not
do if
maintaining
there's
it
no,
well.
yeah,
Not maintaining at all.
so.
what do you do if there's no chain link though? Because that then becomes a liability.
Fortunately, it's not our liability, it's the property owner. In this case, we've stepped up our legal efforts with the two property owners, and sometimes that's convoluted as can be.
Okay.
But they have to maintain it, and they certainly didn't get our permission to put a chain link fence around the property. We're taking them a couple at a time, for sure, at a fast rate. We'd also, we're not gonna talk about it tonight, but we know that we have some deficiencies in the community in our landscaping service. We put the current contractor under notice. They know to step it up. He's got a chance to come back and redeem himself and do a better job. And if we don't see a very, very quick improvement, we're gonna put our landscaping up for review. Yes. And anyone here that has any landscaping comments or deficiencies, don't be shy about getting with Catherine or Diana during the day, and we'll address it. We know that there's some areas that are overgrown with weeds and a lot of common areas and islands that have not been maintained. And we invite and encourage you to get with us on that too. They are taking care of this overgrown house and done a very admirable job on that, fantastic job. And they seem to like the new level of communication. They like a new management in the office as well. So I think you folks know that we have two new staff members here. Catherine is our community manager, and Diana is her assistant. And the level of interest and cooperation between them and the residents is exponentially higher than their predecessors. So we're really, really happy with this work. And, even our vendors are commenting how much easier we are to deal with the last 2 months, which is a pretty good testament to the good folks that we got here. So it's different. Here's an example. You know, we lost our part-time office staff. We had a resident who insisted on coming at 8 o'clock in the morning to have his ID badge made. Ours are 8:30 to 5:30. It was kind of a pain, let me say it, it was a pain in the ass to the ladies, and had to come at 8 o'clock. We said, well, email us your photo, and we'll put it on a badge and have it waiting for you, put it in your mailbox. Wouldn't do it. So, they came in at 8 o'clock in the morning. Fortunately, the fellow came at 8 o'clock in the morning, so we didn't waste half an hour. And under a high level of service environment, which is what we want to have here, we took his photo and opened up a half an hour early for him. I'm not saying that that's going to be a general rule of thought, but it was a good gesture since we had lost our night and weekend person. That's the kind of things that we've been trying to do to make this a more friendly endeavor.
On that note, we have hired a new admin, part-timer. She's in the process of doing the background check and drug test. We should have a report back hopefully by Monday, and then she'll start with us Monday from 1 to 7, Wednesday 1 to 7, and Saturday 8:30 to 5.
Super. Here's one of the hottest comments that come back on things that we're tasked to do, is the school traffic and the backup issue. And it's, you know, if there's a way to make that happen, I'm sure all have done it before. So we've got a couple different scenarios. Number one, we're floating an idea about maybe putting a gate on the Kirby Smith side for residents only to cut some of the cut-through traffic down, which is the cause for some of the traffic queuing up at this choke point going north on Gulf Boulevard. That's a long task. The county has to agree to it. We have to take on the financial responsibility of maintaining that road. It's not easy, but it does have a lot of benefits to us. We might be able to eliminate the interior gates that cost a lot of money to maintain. Those interior gates are coming up for replacement and cause a significant repair. So if we can gate the community on each side, that might be one possible solution, which the community is going to talk about. We're not going to decide that up here ourselves. We propose to the school to bring traffic in through what is currently the bus lane, which can digest 2 lanes of traffic, and serpentine around their property. So there's a higher absorption rate of cars, which once again keeps our neighborhood from being congested twice a day. And there's a new principal there now, so maybe we can have a higher degree of cooperation. Mr. Baker and I have a meeting on June 22nd with Commissioner Thompson, and she's requested county staff to be there, as well as maybe Darrell Flynn from the school board, to try to get them to do everything that they can, including possibly staggering the hours that the kids are picked up and released, so that we can wave them in, so there's not a 2-hour backup on the road again. So we're trying everything that we can to cover what is a very, very significant issue for us. And then the last, for those of you who arrived early, is we had a meeting with our off-duty and the sector commanders of the Orange County Sheriff's Office to look at what judicial items are available for us to recourse to keep people from blocking our roads. You know, those of you who were at the last Meet the Candidates meeting heard Mike Johnson say this school was designed for people to walk to and ride their bikes and bring their kids to. And for some reason, everybody gets dropped off at the school, which causes a lot of backup. We've shut the walking gate because people won't respect any people that lived in that community, which makes the situation worse. And this is a really, really tough thing for us. You know, we have a lot of people that want us to open up the walking gate. You know, John Don knows this better than I do, which will infuriate the residents that live back there. We can't have our community blocked twice a day from an emergency response rate. That's horrifically bad for us. We've got, I think, 200 to 300 more kids going to attend the school next year. It's a tough thing. I mean, it's really, really tough. And we've already got a lot of hours into it. We open up the walking gate, we make those residents mad. They're probably not respected. And it's not, if it was just North Shore people coming and dropping their kids off, there would be one thing. But people that live back there and people that live in the community give that gate code out to non-North Shore residents, and that's not right either. So we've heard everything from a special sticker to go back there, to a unique gate code that's not released to the whole community, to 5 other ideas, and we're trying to float whatever we can. You wanna comment a little bit on that? Go ahead, ma'am, sorry.
So I live in Heron Point, and I had a question, because what I see when I walk the kids to school is that people get out of the long line, get into the lane, and come and drop their kids off right in the gate area before you go in. And so now residents that are trying to get out have a hard time, because now there's 3 or 4 cars looped around, dropping their kids off and then swinging back around so they don't have to wait in line. And I know we've had a security officer here monitoring this parking lot, but I don't think he has the same visibility on that area. And if we could even just on a regular basis have him give out a few tickets or a few warnings, I think that would stop. But you probably have, in the time that I walk my kids there, I usually see 3 to 4 different cars getting out of the long line, dropping their kids off, pulling into the area, and then blocking that up, and residents now have to wait for all these cars that have come in to just to get out.
What's your name now?
Tawana, TJ Nunn.
Good. I will pass your comment on to Corporal Ramsey and Deputy Johnson about watching Heron Point, which is not an approved drop-off for school. And I can tell you, folks who are here get the benefit of knowing that when the first 2 weeks of school, we're gonna have 4 officers in our community, some sponsored by our off-duty budget and some passed on by the sector commander. And so we'll have 4 people out here in the mornings and some of the afternoons during the first 2 weeks of school. And we'll certainly have them drop some tickets and some people
Yeah, I
blocking the
agree.
gate at
That
every
would
point for you.
deter a lot of
We have informed them as well. We have emails to them.
Yes, yeah.
I've got a suggestion. It would only be a couple $100 to like buy a sign with like a flashing light that you could put down, you know, before the actual island starts here.
Yeah.
And it would probably get rid of half of the people, because like, I always see like a UPS truck in there and a FedEx guy and a sprinkler guy. You see these big vans in there. And if they weren't there, you know, it might not get backed up as much. So if we put some kind of warning system ahead of it that says, you know, traffic's gonna stop at this time or something.
But then does that cause a problem for the people in Osprey?
Well, it could be backed by maybe like the roundabout. You know what I mean? Like, or something, because, I mean, you don't want them turning in there, but if the alternative is turning in there versus backing up and causing a traffic jam for half an hour that a, you know, emergency response wouldn't be able to get through. And like, even, like I always get stuck in it, and it's just stupid of me, because like, I don't know what times, and like, obviously I should learn this, but I don't, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh man, and I try to turn around at the last minute, you know, but I think if there was just some kind of a warning system that people, because
Yeah,
you're
we've
gonna get dumb people like me that just
We had someone
forget.
propose a bunch of signs down Gulf Boulevard that say no stopping, standing, or parking. I don't know if it'd be obeyed or not. You know, we
But
try
more
to
of like a
put the-
warning system, not like a don't stop, more of a, hey, traffic's gonna be stopped ahead, maybe you wanna avoid the area. Because I think sprinkler guys and they probably don't wanna be stuck there, and then that's where the road rage comes in, and people
Yeah,
driving up on the grass.
We've even tried to stop the destruction of the island median, and it appears to be too late for that. They were out there doing work on it. You live in Heron, so your opinion means a lot to us, and whether you did or not, it means a lot to us. What do you think about that gate? Open or shut, the walking gate?
On this side, that gate over there.
Because that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Because I don't live over there, I live over here.
Okay.
In Heron Point's right here, across the street from the school.
So-
So when I, just as a point of
Would you,
clarification,
would you use that gate if it was open or not?
the one in the other community?
She had no reason to.
Yeah, I know, I would just walk across, but I did want to make a point of clarification, the traffic I'm talking about is coming off of Moss Park and into our community from this direction.
So north to south? Okay,
Yes,
got
from
it,
this
okay.
direction.
Good.
But, you know, so I can't say that I have used that part of that gate, early on, and once it got to be too crowded, I stopped and we just walked across, but.
Okay. Super, thank you. Go ahead.
So 2 things. When is that median supposed to happen?
There's no notice to us. It's already been approved by the county. And they were out there today. I think there was a flagging, utilities, and it looks like it's, I talked to the commissioner, and they said it's not gonna do anything to maybe give us 12 more car spots.
Exactly.
But I really feel like that's gonna make a big difference, cause it always seems to like just get backed up past where the island is.
It gets backed up past Osprey.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Alright,
so
well,
I
I
don't.
turn around if it's,
Yeah.
Well,
And
the
then,
intent, if they do it, is for that lane to be a through lane, which would be, you know, the commercial people or whatever, that don't have a
Right.
reason to be queuing, it gives you a way to get past it, but somebody's gonna have to be out there enforcing that,
Yeah.
or it's just gonna turn into a two-lane parking lot,
Yeah.
people are gonna
It's
fight
in a
over
very
who's to
dangerous
turn.
spot for kids.
You
that
know,
Well, like,
walk
I mean, if,
at
you
the
know,
intersection.
That's my
So,
if it does get enforced, it seems like a viable option. Like, I know people don't wanna lose the island, they're not taking that much, and it is a real solution to the problem. No, I mean, the county seems to think it is.
and the second,
Well,
well, we
they
had
know
a
what they're
vote,
doing.
we all had a vote, and I guess the vote won, and there were.
And by the way,
no
and that got
votes
thrown back in my face by the county commissioner and the county mayor, is we did a survey and your people voted for it.
Yeah, and the second thing, just to consider, is that Eagle Creek will be opening up the following year, so that will alleviate a lot of the traffic going in this way.
But they said that at that same meeting, you're talking about one
Was
school,
Norwood?
that those new schools weren't for overflow, that they were for growth.
No, but see, we currently have over 400 students coming from Eagle Creek. All of those students will
But-
be going to Eagle Creek
That is correct.
Is
at
it-
that point.
is that-
And the people in the
Yeah.
Trust me,
apartments
I fought
over,
the school board.
the
on those
people
matters.
over apartments by
I was in
Publix,
it.
they are also coming into our school. And I was at the
And
school
then
board meeting.
at
Yeah.
some point, there'll be another elementary back here, back by Wycliffe, which will hopefully
Someday.
alleviate some of the people who come in, but that one's a year or two down.
Yeah, plus the
It's like
elementary, plus the
4
elementary
more
school
years
for
later.
Innovation Way on by Tijuana. But they're all supposed to be full up from day one with the amount of development going into it. I'm sorry, you were really patient.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm Russ Weatherington, actually work with Dave in the CFC guy. I live in Marsh Pine.
Yes.
So that gate, our gate, the gate for cars, ultimately would feed into the, we're talking about the gate, we formally have taken the access that was, okay. I can't recommend we reiterate, we would open that up again. It wasn't just congestion for those poor people that lived adjacent to that side access,
That
but
didn't get respect.
Marsh Pine Circle, that the gate into that community became just a colossus at issue around 8 o'clock in the morning with parents speeding through the gates and disregarding any level of safety, because it was never designed for that, amount of traffic. It was a safety issue even there, just getting into the community.
People trying to cheat the gate to get in.
Oh, yeah, you had that going on, it's not designed for it. I think that's I know you're probably getting interest from people that wanna use that, and I'm sure but it's been so much safer since we don't, because you didn't have people rushing their kids to school, you know, and having all that going on at our gate any longer. Can I ask a question, and it's the most naive of questions?
No, please.
So we own the lake that's up here, going back towards, back to Watts Park Road. We own property, I assume, to the tree line. If we offered, and I know I won't, Robert,
No, I know where you're headed.
what if we offered, because you have three different entities here, you've got the county, you got the school, and I don't know what the school system's really into doing an awful lot, because they already have what they want. It's our issue, not theirs, so to speak. What if we offered them, the county and a lane out of that, to access out to Mars Park Road?
What, the land between the pond and the creek isn't sufficient for a full-blown road. They've looked into that.
Yeah, it's
You're not the first person to.
What about, who owns the pond, us?
We own the pond,
Right.
and then obviously the property line basically goes from the pond we have to what conservation that the county owns, because the county owns basically the creek and the conservation zone that can't be developed because of state county regulation.
Okay, so out of box thinking, just for a second, what if, let's pretend the pond wasn't there, or that we were able to do something with the pond in another manner, and we were able to provide more space, but we don't have the constraint of trying to work between the pond and whatever land is adjacent to the pond. If we were to redesign the pond, at our own behest, perhaps even get support from the county to do it, since we're actually conceding fixing a traffic problem, but as much theirs as the school systems. Would there be enough space if you included the pond in the mix? I'm not eliminating the pond in the end, maybe architecturally.
That's a civil engineering design question. I can't sit here and tell you with certainty it could be done or not. Somebody'd have to put some time into evaluating the water flow rates and whether that pond could be shrunk and still meet the permitting for the stormwater flows for the community. So I'm not saying it's impossible, but I couldn't tell you with any.
Well, it'd be interesting if the county would be amenable to even having that discussion with us.
I think they have before, because they've talked about like what it cost would be to put a bridge, and like people have asked those questions for a long time.
Because that would be, then you would have two of the three elements in discussion. The third element is the school, who's probably not gonna do anything unless you corner it.
It's so silly that I went to Commissioner Thompson and said, can we take the money that we're using to demo the island and widen this road and use it to build a road from the school? And they were so stubborn, I can't even say words. They'll spend $700,000 to take the median out and improve that versus $400,000 to run a road from the school, because the school has their budget and roads have their budget, and they don't mingle or touch. And they would not share it, even though it was to the same common cause and good. And they just flat out, both departments told me that they have respective budgets, and it's like the government, use it or lose it. And they'll spend 3 times as much money to tear out this median, which may not even fix the problem, versus put a feeder exit in. And that's the
If
quantity.
we donated, if we were willing to donate that, it would have to be a consensus in the community to do it. But if we were to at least offer that and say, this is on the table, providing this ground to you, to provide another access into, or I don't know if you do it by two-directional or one-way. I suppose it could be two-directional.
It takes a civil engineering study to see if it's viable.
We heard wetlands, and it would take a lot of voting in the community to agree to donate that land.
Oh, I agree. I agree. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you didn't interrupt at all. Look, we don't have a patent on this solution, and we're happy to hear comments. Good. Anything else on old business? Okay, we're gonna jump into new business. Okay, Catherine?
We have an off-site storage room which we keep broken furniture, TVs that don't work, obviously some files that we need to keep, and old decor, 3 Christmas trees. I would like to obtain your approval to clean it out and donate what's broken or what needs, that still works but we're not utilizing it, so we can clean out the storage room.
Yeah, I mean, if there's stuff that's just broken, needs to be thrown away, throw it away.
Please, ladies.
So, but there's social community stuff in there too, so for instance, like decoration stuff, so I just wanna make sure that we're not, even though there's 3 or 4 Christmas trees, we're not tossing everything. 'Cause we have,
Correct.
like this kind of budget, and so we reviewed everything.
I will be evaluating, I'm just gonna chair.
Would you like to volunteer to work with Catherine?
Be nice to at least know what is going to be donated. Is it possible to have an idea, a list of what
Of
you're
course.
planning to
And you might
donate?
even have some input on where we donate it.
Yeah, and we'd be okay, I mean, if, I would totally mind going.
Will we accept your,
I didn't-
I'm
I'm gonna work on Friday, sorry, I'm not studying anything, I'm not, I'm
Good,
just,
sis,
2-year-old that was back here, unless she comes in here, I can't do anything.
Good, you
I'll
have,
contact you.
I won't get there, but that's okay.
We'll have a field trip.
I'm gonna answer the phone, that'll be okay.
okay, we have a little bit of issue with the fitness center. It's either freezing in this room and freezing in the staff offices, but there's no air conditioning in the men's locker room, and the ladies' locker room is freezing. So we're looking at spending a very small amount of money to review the dampening of where the air conditioning goes and bring in some experts on that. It's a fairly minor expense, and we're gonna go ahead and take some bids, and go ahead and move forward on that.
Can I get a, we actually presented 3 bids. Our current vendor, which is Electric Cool, you have that there, underneath your storage. You have 3 bids, and we are budgeted $1248. Electric Cool, which is our current vendor, is $1245. Bob Miller is $975 a year, and Bob Schaefer, which thank you, John, for referring him to us. He's $270 per quarter, so he's actually $1,080 per year. I would like to recommend, approving one of the newer vendors so we can get our AC system up to par.
But what you're talking about tonight is just strictly the quarterly preventative maintenance.
Correct.
And it looks like you're still waiting to get one of the quotes for possibly adding a unit that would balance so that we'd not freeze people to death in the other room.
That's correct. Baba wanted to actually come in and reevaluate. He's recommending that we may not need the additional 1 ton. Perhaps he can reroute the ductwork.
Which is the same recommendation
Correct.
that
Mr. Singer.
Singer Services have done.
Correct.
So they might be able to do it with what's called a VAV box.
So I'll-
basically.
That's what he did, yes.
Put
We
that on
went
a
through,
VAV box,
correct.
which wouldn't be nearly as much.
I'd be in favor of Mr. Schaefer giving it a shot without spending the
Okay.
money for a unit.
Mhm.
Any comments? I'll make a motion that we proceed with Schaefer, Hyvac, and put the additional unit on hold. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Good. All in favor? Aye. Any disagreement? Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, proceed with that. Okay. Bright House.
Bright House, our lease agreement expired 2012. Just wanted to give you a heads up on that, but we have a resident that's requesting for us to reevaluate our cable company and provide a fiber optic choice. Each resident is responsible for their options, so it doesn't follow through the homeowners association. So each resident should contact them individually and choose their package versus the association. So I have informed him, but he wanted me to put it in the agenda, so I did.
Well, we're not gonna bring fiber optic in.
Correct.
You get your way out of cable business a year or two ago.
Yes.
So,
Yes. Got it.
Got it.
If Bright House wants to bring fiber optic in, we're happy to. Good.
the fourth item will be Boy Girl Scout weekly meetings.
Good. We're trying to set the board meetings up, and we're gonna rotate board meetings to different times and different dates to try and generate as much participation from the community as we can. As you can see, this is a Wednesday meeting. A couple times a year, we're gonna try and do a lunch meeting for people that work at night, just kind of mix it up. We're gonna try and start the meetings a little earlier, so they end a little bit earlier. And as we try to grab this room for community business for the board meeting, we find that it is often reserved many months out in advance. So the point is I'm going to propose community business supersedes any other use of this room. I think that's an important consideration as we attend to the business of North Shore. And then after that, I would say that paid use of this room supersedes volunteering use of this room. And that when we give the room out gratis, it would be for a couple of months only in advance. Gene?
North Shore Homeowners Association sponsors the Boy Scout troop, Troop 41. They also sponsor the PAC, the Cub Scouts, PAC 41. Basically what they have done, they have set up and they have also, they've set up the Wednesday nights for the meetings. And the committee chair approached me and because they could not be here tonight and basically said, you know, what are they going to do as far as meetings? They have the ability 1 time a month to have their committee meeting the leaders of both the Boy Scout as well as the PAC on a monthly basis where they don't have all the youngsters there, okay? First of all, the troop has policed and cleaned up as community, as their community service projects, North Shore Golf Club Boulevard and both lakes, okay? And that would probably offset any of the rent. Now, if the association wishes to continue and want to rent the room out to the Boy Scouts, I would say that something would probably happen with regards to the sponsorship and the committee and the troop.
Our proposal is not to charge the Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts for use of the room. When I went in to look at the schedule, every single, not once a month, Gene, every single Wednesday for the entire year, the room was reserved by Boy Scouts Club, every single Wednesday.
That's correct, and it was reserved in advance, not only for the Boy Scouts, but for the Girl Scouts as well.
Sure. Do they need it every single Wednesday for the
They
entire
meet
year?
every week except in the summer.
And the summer was not taken off the schedule. So the summer is still listed as on the schedule. I'm very amicable, and we'll discuss this as a community, to give the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts gratis use of this room. I can't say that we're not gonna wanna have a board meeting on a Wednesday night throughout the year, though.
I know that they don't have any problem as long, because what they would do, they would schedule their committee meeting to meet the requirements of the board. So if the board was meeting on Wednesday night, the committee meeting would be held at one of the other or not the association, but the committee's homes, because there's only 4 scouts involved. The senior assistant patrol leader, the patrol leader, the patrol leaders, and they could meet at the house and there'd be no issue. When you have the whole troop or the whole pack here, you're talking anywhere from, well, you've got close to 20 scouts and close to 50
How
cubs.
many times a month does the whole pack meet?
The pack meets every week, excluding 1 week.
Okay.
So
There were
3 a
no-
month.
3 out of
3 to 4 a month.
3 out of 4.
And the schedule has every single day reserved.
I
So-
understand. They reserved it well in advance.
So maybe they can give back the days that they're not gonna use.
Oh, sure. That's not an issue.
Okay. And if you annualize the use of this room for what we charge for on a weekly use, that's a $10,000 gratis gift to the Boy Scouts, plus the funds that we've already donated as a community to the Boy Scouts. So if they can start by giving back the night that they're not gonna use, so that we can do homeowners business, that's a good start.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. We're not gonna-
We appreciate the donation.
We're not gonna have more than one board meeting a month.
Oh.
As a reoccurring event. Yes, sir.
Is there a preferred night for board meetings? And
Traditionally, it was Mondays, but for a lot of people, Mondays is the most brutal day of the week, where those of us who work have a severe challenge in our business duties. Most of our homeowners, Mondays are pretty wearing days, and we thought it would be nice to mix it up a little bit and do it on a non-Monday, maybe a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, to give it a little bit of a break and days that people were more, we want to have community involvement in board meetings. We'd like to have 50, 60 people here.
Okay.
So we're trying to rotate it a little bit.
where I'm going with that is that there may be another approach to this, and that is Wednesday night the optimal night for the Boy Scouts and the Cub Scouts? Just something to consider with the troop, and the adult leaders of the troop, and other parents. Do they need Wednesdays? And the only reason why my son's in a different troop, they meet Mondays, and that works out fine for them.
And do they need it for 4 hours, Gene? The room's reserved for 4 hours. And I think prior to it,
Probably.
and I think if I remember, prior to it, the Girl Scouts had.
Girl Scouts,
And then
Girl Scouts had 2. There's no overlap. They come in first, and then the Scouts are here until about 8, from 6 to 8. But the Girl Scouts precede the Boy Scouts by 2 hours.
So from 4 to 8
Correct.
for the two organizations. Yes, ma'am.
I was just going to ask, I'm not really familiar with the Boy Scout troop that North Shore sponsors, but are all the kids that are sponsored from our neighborhood, or are some of these kids from some of the surroundings? Just curious.
It is a mix. There is a mix. There are youngsters that do live in North Shore. the majority of the Cub Scout pack are from North Shore.
Mr. Mullins?
So it seems like what you maybe were getting at would be like a staggered approach where
Yeah.
people from 45 days out is open for renting, and then within 45 to 30 is like board business, but obviously board business can supersede all of that. And then once it's available at, within, say, 30 days or 21 days, then it should be where somebody can come in and reserve it for free if it's for like a Boy Scout group or like yoga. They should, it seems like they shouldn't be able to rent it out or, donate it out
Right.
6 months, a year in advance.
And look, and I'm gonna tell you folks candidly, and you too, Gene, Kim, we have a lot of business to attend to. We went to have a scheduled board meeting, and we couldn't get this room, it was booked so many nights. And look, we don't take this frivolously, I spend, no exaggeration, 2, 3, 4 hours a day on North Shore business. All of us spend hours and hours a week on this, and we want to have a board meeting, we want to attend to the needs of our community, we want to attend to what our legal responsibilities are as your board. And we had a hard time finding a date that this room was available, because it's booked so far in advance. And we're required by law to publish this and to have the community of any magnitude attend. And this is the appropriate forum to do it, is in this room, and we just had a hard time really getting it scheduled. And that's what this is a derivative of. We have no punitive actions against the Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts. We think that they have a high contribution to the neighborhood. They have volunteered, they have cleaned up, they've done a good job, and it's a good organization. But we still need to attend to North Shore business, and that's really where this came from.
But in fairness to the Boy Scouts, they need to know their cycle for a full year. And as a resident here, I would totally support making sure the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts and the Cub Scouts can plan a year at a time. They can't shift, it's difficult.
Well, the first thing I would politely ask you, Dean, if they can get back the days they're not gonna use for the rest of the year.
Understood.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
I'll
25%.
communicate that right on to the committee chair.
Thank you.
So like actually book out, like they schedule, okay, we're doing every Wednesday.
This room has bookings at.
No, I meant the actual Boy Scouts, like in your experience, they actually tell the kids, okay, you're meeting every Wednesday, you're meeting this Wednesday, this Tuesday, they give an entire schedule for the year?
Our troop is probably run a little different from their troop. We're also at a school, so it's a lot different. But I certainly, as a resident, would want to bend over backwards to support the local troop.
Yeah, of course.
And they need predictability. You've got to get the kids here, and parents have to arrange their schedules, you've got adult leaders that have to arrange their schedules.
I don't think it'll be an issue, they're just asking, we only do once a month, and if you guys are doing 3 weeks out of the month,
But
it
is
shouldn't be an issue.
is
And we're
45
and we're not even doing Wednesday, we're doing different times all throughout the year, every month. So it shouldn't be an issue.
Is 45 days not enough time to schedule a meeting, like, I mean, you said like a year in advance.
It shouldn't be an issue.
I would think.
You see, I know with his troop, we know every Monday night, there is a meeting, unless, so we plan our lives around Monday nights, he'll be at the meetings.
Well, thanks, and we appreciate the input, and once again, Gene, we respect and hear what you have to say. You know more than anyone that we have to do some board business. We have the same issue come up with yoga lattes in the morning. They want to come earlier than we have this office staff. And the question of key and access and who gets keys to this building. So we're gonna have a sign-up key for the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts, and yoga lattes. Good. Kathleen, resolutions?
Yes. Resolution of signature cards, we have already made arrangements to have your bank signature cards revised, removal of the old board and the new board. So that's already in the process. As soon as I receive it, from First Service Corporate Office, we'll go ahead and have you sign.
Fantastic. Good. You want to do the committee? Or you want me to cover?
That's you.
Okay, great.
The
Good.
social committee.
Good. So right now, as I understand it, we have 4 active committees here at North Shore. We have fining, and compliance, very well run by Dave Bauer. We have the ARB, social and fitness. I'd like to propose, and I think it's really important that we communicate with the residents, that we start a new committee, to deem the communication committee.
And what
There
would
is
that
an
entail?
entail.
I'm sorry, there is a communications committee though.
It doesn't
My
appear,
husband's the chairperson.
is it?
Throw
Is
that
it?
out there, she's the co-chairperson.
There.
Just want to say it. Just, yeah, it's a little.
It's,
we're
we
little
had a
weird
little
right
bit of
now
a hard
because-
time pulling together a quorum, but there is one, there's a lot going on here.
Good.
Yeah.
And does your husband still want to chair it?
It's my husband.
Your husband still want to chair it?
He's up in, he's thinking about it. He's still the chair, so they're co-chairs of the Metuana. We can get together. and
Can you
have-
let me know, and if not, we want to start sending out an electronic newsletter at least every month to the residents. It's gonna take a lot of work. I think that's gonna be one of our primary communication points, as well as, things like Facebook. We have a lot of cool things that are in development for North Shore. Just as importantly, we want to take feedback and suggestions from the community back. This is a two-way avenue, and it's gonna be one of our most important vehicles going forward. And if he wants to carry the ball on it, that's great. If not, we want to reinvigorate the communication committee.
I just want to make sure, because he's not here to speak for himself, so I'll just defend
Sure.
him. He has been reinvigorating the group. He has done meetings, he's done the online, the whole team's gonna go online, kind of social
Yeah.
talk to each other. So it's not that he doesn't want to be part of it, so I will say that. And the group has been trying to, but unfortunately, he needs a team, and we don't have that. So he'll chair it, but he needs people. So people volunteer to be on it, they just never showed up. So he has meetings, comes and sat here, literally, once a month he's been here, no one comes.
Good,
So
well, I will
I
introduce
work on
you.
getting him a team.
I'll introduce your husband to Lorraine.
We've been there before.
Yeah.
Lorraine was
Let's
on
talk
the committee,
offline about
yeah,
this,
Lorraine was
'cause-
on the committee,
Yeah,
and
we-
got off.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I think there's probably a side talk that we should probably have about it,
Yeah.
like, I'll put you two together.
Okay.
But there was a
Yeah.
team of 6, and then it went to 2, then it went to
Yeah.
3, then it's to him.
Good.
So-
We'll save a lot of money.
Lane, yeah, Lorraine was the secretary.
Yeah,
of
we'll save a
committee.
lot of money doing mass communication to the community. Hopefully, we can get an email address from everybody, including Joe and Loretta, so that we don't have to mail a newsletter. We'll save a lot of money. And it's just a way to keep everything up, and it's a good two-way forum. We saw a lot of vigor from Facebook this year, and I can absolutely tell you, it's gonna be the way to communicate with the community. It saves us a fortune versus mass mailings, and we'll try and get him as much help as we want.
Yeah, he just needs the support. He, in the board before was supportive of him, it's just that, there's just, no,
So do you have people that have indicated they're interested in?
Yes,
that's all.
very much so.
What exactly does he need people to do?
And I'm saying, for me, I've lived here 5 years, I've never gotten an electronic.
So
We just started,
Oh, okay.
so
Back up a
I am
little bit,
also
yeah.
on that committee, so just.
Yeah, it literally just started about maybe 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So he was approached by someone on the board, and he said, we talked through, and I was gonna be on the committee, but we went to the
And who is
social.
his board liaison?
At the time, it was Rose was our budget. She was extremely helpful.
Okay.
She was super helpful for us trying to get things started. And so he needs members, and so there was a whole blast on it, people volunteered, they just never showed up.
This budget.
I mean, it was on the Facebook, it was
So
on
we
the
just
page,
need
so.
we need to,
I just wanna make sure it's not sounding like that the committee wasn't doing anything. There was no committee, there was 2 chairpersons that no one helped with, so we must have still try to do it. And I just don't wanna be thrown on the bus.
So it sounds like you need to send out another communication requesting
I
volunteers.
think that's what.
Yeah, if we
We'll
had,
share it. It's not
you know,
like-
Chuck, if we had a vehicle to communicate, that would be really nice, you know?
well,
So-
we can send an email blast and we
So,
don't have any
okay, so
problem.
the gist of it is, that we wanna keep this moving along, is we want to reinvigorate the communication or
Yeah, no.
provide all the tools. There are several interested people. We also need to have, very important, a finance budget committee as well. And we will seek volunteers for that committee. It's budgeting time for us, so that's really a crucial aspect. So, good.
So she at one point was that she had 6 people on it, but they couldn't get a quorum. Are committees absolutely required to act as the board with quorums and things of that nature, when it's even like a social committee? Yeah.
We couldn't make, they literally got there and come 3 of them, and that was before, so.
So, but I think in the past, maybe we had done where there was like a committee, and there was their core people that were gonna go, but then there was also other people who weren't officially on the committee but that attended regularly, no, you can't do that, and that would be a three-person.
Has to be the committee, appointed by the board.
No, no, but what I'm saying is, if you had a core of, say, 3 people that were the committee that made up that you knew were gonna show up, but then other people could help and volunteer, but they're not on the committee.
And this is.
That way you can keep your
And this is probably
quorum.
the most important committee for us to get going right now, because once we have effective communication, we can bring people into the other committees and all the other needs of North Shore.
So
Yes, ma'am.
I would just make a recommendation, I can get with her husband and we can work with Catherine to set a date. And
Absolutely.
then maybe just send out an email blast to.
Right, and I know
residents.
Catherine works at night, so I don't know.
No,
if
no,
that-
not for
that's-
her to be there, this
Oh,
Catherine.
I do.
I'm not from you, Lorraine Ellis, I know Lorraine Ellis works at night.
That might
So,
be
so might not
why
be good.
she, why she
And,
dropped
and
off.
then, the suggestion somebody came up with, Billy Martinez might be a really good, person to be on that committee as well.
Well, maybe we just send out, I mean, a lot of us work, you know, during the day, so I don't necessarily know.
Again, I think if we're gonna have our regular board meeting at the end of July, here in a couple of weeks, let's get an email blast out, so at that board meeting, we can go ahead and formally make a motion to, you know, refill the committees with people that express their interest.
Yeah, so we'll
and get them
figure
going.
out at least a date and try to
So
pull together.
that's a
dates.
really, really
That
important committee
helps.
for us. Not that any committee is less important.
And they're excited, I mean,
Good.
the two that are there are excited to be part of it.
We're
So
excited.
could you currently, like right now, remove all these people from it and just leave it with 2 or 3, so that they could have a proper meeting with a quorum? So that there's you and your husband, then you'd only need 2 of the 3, and then you could have a meeting.
We just, I think if we just do, I mean, the
Yeah.
people that were already out there, they may or may not continue
And it
on.
sounds like you have people that are interested, so.
And there
I
might
would
be some
say,
more.
so Catherine will give you, Lorraine, Alice, who was a candidate for the board, who's really, really
She's
strong.
Lorraine was our secretary.
She's on the secretary of the committee.
For the social education
No,
committee.
Okay, good. Carry the ball and let us know, please.
Yeah.
We can get that going.
We will,
And then the other key is to make sure we have an email address for as many residents as possible.
And that's one of the things we do with our social committee events.
Under the rules for the committee meetings, can a committee member attend a meeting by phone?
Yes.
So you can get a quorum by having a person there by phone.
Yeah.
Just like board meetings.
We've had that, yeah, board meetings, we've had that, people calling by phone.
We have a
when they're out of
conference
town
call.
business, so.
That would be nice if we could.
We try to use, we try to use
Number 8,
Good, okay. I can't stress how important communication committees can be going forward.
Yeah.
Okay, next, please.
Number 8, we're starting the 2015 budget. So at corporate, we have a meeting on July 29th to start with the budget tool, and I'm also working with the reserve study.
I have, before you leave the committees.
Yes, thank you.
I'm
I'm sorry, I didn't see you.
Previously, we had liaisons to each of the committees.
Yes.
And we no longer have liaisons for at least my committee.
And who was your previous liaison?
Attached.
Okay. I think let's get the email blast out, and we will get you a liaison quickly. In the meantime, I think.
We have a meeting on the 15th as a matter of information.
In the meantime, you can go through me as you have for the last week and a half. I think you're doing a phenomenal job, and you and I dialogue really well. We're gonna make sure that there is a board liaison to every committee,
Okay, excellent.
or in the appropriate committees of board participation.
Okay.
You'll have one. We have 2 of our board members who are not here tonight, because of the quick schedule of this meeting. In the future, we'll have more board members, because we plan this more in advance. So,
No problem.
yeah. plus-
The second point before you leave the committees is we, our group had a hearing on the 15th of last month, or the 17th of last month. And we sent to you the results of that hearing, and the board needs to approve that, so Catherine can go ahead and action those items.
Yes.
Okay.
Gene, who was the head of the ARB committee?
Me.
Okay, and do you intend to keep that?
I can't be a liaison, I'm not on the board.
Do you maintain the head of the ARB
No,
committee?
no. I was the liaison from the board to the Architectural Review Board.
Who is the committee head?
Brian Trago.
Okay, thank you, got it, super.
Yep.
Fantastic.
One more point, yeah, and then, you know, then my business for the evening is through.
No.
We had a former member of our committee who was attached, quite frankly, who had requested to rejoin our committee and sent a request to Catherine. And we're wondering if, since we are a member short,
And that's amicable to you?
that's amicable to us, yes.
I make a motion that we bring Hitesh back into the FC committee.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Okay, thank you.
Excellent. And would you thank him? He has a lot of skills. He'd be a valuable addition back. We appreciate that.
And then you're gonna rule, and then you're gonna review, they're gonna send to the board the hearing results from
Yes.
last month, so they can review at the end of the month.
Good. We'll have that on next schedule, for sure. Good. We have budget coming up. It'd be nice to have a finance budget committee, if anyone's interested. I can absolutely tell you on that, from the board standpoint, Don Zabrera will be our liaison. He's very, very interested in finance and budget and watching over our money. So he'll be the board liaison. He's a good person to work with. Good.
Okay.
We've kind of hinted on number 9 a little bit with social media strategy and implementation of the communication committee. I can tell you folks that we're gonna have a 4th of July party here this week. That's good. You think we had a lot of turnout for this election? Wait till you see this. We've had, I think, over
450.
450 people RSVP for this 4th of July. We've had to go back into the well and get more food and more beverages, and it's gonna be, weather permitting, and it's gonna be mediocre. Sometime on the 4th of July it's gonna rain, but we're gonna have a huge turnout. And Catherine and staff have done a great job, and we have food and beverages.
And Tawana.
We are the social. There's another one.
And you did a good job because it was a unanimous vote to completely further fund the party of all parties that we're gonna have here, so thanks for all that.
Is this, when would you like us to give a little update, because we did want to give a little.
You might as well do it now, we'll do better than this.
Okay, so between the two of us, one thing I will say is that we've done our signature parties have been the 4th of July. We had an amazing turnout last year, and we were able to really, kind of encourage guests to register. And so last year, we ended up with 325 and about, 25 to 30% that did not register. This year, we ended up with 450 registrations. So we feel like we really did, our work from last year. And it was a very successful event last year. We saw a lot of community building. A lot of people said they really enjoyed it. And it's just to show that this year is even, everyone's registered and we have a lot of participation. So we're really looking forward to it. We did have a few things, so I don't want to, we do, one quick question. We did, because, and we wanted to present this to the board, because we've had so many more people, we were planning for 325 is where we topped out last year. We got the additional money for the food. Thank you. We are concerned though that seating may be a concern with that many more people. We were out here yesterday, we walked the area and we thought that maybe what we'd like to do is the tent that the community owns, put that up. We'd like to request some additional money to be able to buy some tables and chairs. Rent tables and chairs to put under the tent so that the residents can sit, because right now we'll have this room, we'll have the outside pool area, but for 450 people.
And I think the
Do you
difference
have a
of last
ballpark
year's.
price on that rental, and can we still get it in time for 4th of July?
We can, because we have a phenomenal relationship with this new guy who's awesome. He's doing all of our I think he's like our best friend now.
So what's a ballpark for that?
He wasn't, I spoke to him today. He is going to give me a quote. He's done a great job. He's done a really great job for all the entertainment that he's providing, giving us a really good rate. We thought we'd use him because he is phenomenal and he can just add it. So we're looking to seat about 50 to 60 people. I've asked him, our tent is 5 by 10 meters. So he's gonna go and see how many people that can seat comfortably. And he was going to give us a quote, and one of us should have something in our email.
Well, let me tell you how I think it works, and John, correct me if I'm wrong. I think we're empowered to approve up to $1,000 individually. And if it's more than that, then the board has to discuss and vote it.
No, it would be, we're talking $200 or $300, I'm thinking.
And I
if
have
that.
Well, let me, yeah, so, and Catherine has, 500, yeah, so let me tell you, we wouldn't even blanket that.
Okay,
And
we'll
the other
send
thing
you
is, we
over.
built this beautiful gazebo outside,
It's very nice.
and there's no seating, and
Yeah.
we're gonna look at putting in, we're gonna take quotes for some permanent benches in there as well, so,
And the DJ there, just in case.
yeah, so,
Can you give them an overview?
good. Anything else, ladies?
No.
Well, first off, I'd like to give you guys a round of applause. My recollection, that would be the biggest turnout for any event that's ever been done here at North Shore, and I think you're gonna have just a blowout, fantastic party. And you've got a lot of organization, and maybe you can remind everyone to give you their email address while they're here, so that.
That's what we do.
Well, we
So
will
we collect their email address when they check
Super.
in, so we do that. And then we're excited because it's the first time in a long, well, I've only been for 2 years, but we have an on-site caterer that's gonna be grilling on-site. And she's actually, this is really cool.
And she knows she's gonna have a blowout, right?
She is,
Yeah,
well,
they're
she's making her own hamburger buns and hot dogs. They're
Wow.
making them from scratch. FYI.
Good. Oh, awesome job, absolutely awesome job, thank you.
I will let you know what it is.
So if you do have any trouble with tables or chairs, my neighbors call me Chuck's Party Supply Rental. Because I've got like tons of tables and chairs, and I will be using some on 4th of July. But if you have any issue, I will most likely have a bunch of extras. So.
We have the ones here too.
Good. And if I might mention, and I'm sorry to put you all on the spot, and it's not that they were a solution for tables and chairs, but Joe and Loretta Solzek, who's sitting here in the back, own a very, very successful catering company. And they understand a lot of nuances of catering, and Loretta's probably one of the greatest cooks I've ever met in my life. And I'm sure that they would be delighted to let you pick their brain for anything you need from a social aspect. Good. So you guys introduce, I don't know if they have email, but I'll give you their numbers.
I will say, we have the RSVP list, and pretty much, I would say 90%, maybe 95% provided emails. So we already have emails, and a lot of people registered online because they received the emails, so.
Great job, great job. Good. Number 10 is a really important item. The development of this Camino Royale complex coming in here in the back will have a profound impact on our community. I don't know how many thousands of homes that are proposed back there. And the original plan was to dump all that traffic onto the B line at what is the Wee-Wah-Hootie Althea connection. The most recent proposal to the county is to knock this traffic onto Wee-Wah-Hootie Moss Park Road. And Moss Park Road, I don't think can absorb thousands of cars a day. The people back in Isle of Pines in that neighborhood have successfully fought to keep the traffic off Lake Mary Jane. So what we've done is assembled a really good core group of people that are gonna go and attend this county meeting Wednesday, July 9th at 6 p.m. at Lake Nona High School and speak on behalf of North Shore and our 1,050 homes to talk about the impact of our community and represent us there. And the more the merrier. So we've got, anybody who was here at a couple meetings ago, John Dick, again, Lorraine is gonna go, as is Jana, who you see very often posting on our Facebook page, and they're gonna go and represent the community at this county meeting. And this really could have a big, big impact on us. I mean, if they build several thousand homes back there behind Wycliffe in that area, and they dump out on our road, number one, their elementary school's not gonna get done for a long time, so it impacts our elementary school, even though they're supposed to get one, and the traffic issues. And once again, it's not a bad idea if they dump them onto the B line like they were talking to, and the new connection finally of Althea, which took, I think, 12+ years to get done. So we do have this staffed and attended to for this big meeting next week. So, and it seems like the Lake Mary Jane Alliance has backed off a bit since they got what they wanted, was no traffic on Lake Mary Jane. So it's that, it's
David,
our community.
there's rumors that it could be 10,000 properties.
Yeah, that's what they want.
Now, it won't all happen in 1 year, but over a period of 5 or 7 years.
And then we have a meeting on July 22nd with our county commissioner, Jennifer Thomas,
council to discuss the traffic and various other issues. And we're certainly gonna talk to her about our concerns with this community and traffic alleviation. They're gonna build it, they're gonna build in there. It's just a question of what we can do to mitigate negative impact to us. John, do you have any comments on this?
No, okay, I'm gonna be able to attend, I've got a family matter, I may end up being out of state, but I'll be attend. So,
Well, that's the same day as our training, we don't.
Okay. Item 11 is that we have another homeowner, palm tree trimming and mailbox painting. They have complied, requesting to waive $1,100 fine.
Applicable to that? Good.
so the work
Motion?
been completed,
Okay.
so the work was completed at
Yes.
the time and
Yep.
I'll make a motion to waive the fund.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Good. Please waive that.
Okay. Do
Really?
I have comments?
Do our other board members have some comments?
We schedule the next meeting yet?
No, we have not scheduled our next meeting yet, so we've got to do with availability. I think our next meeting is gonna probably be on a Wednesday, Thursday. I think, John has the toughest schedule for making it, but a 6 PM start gets us in and out a little bit earlier. For any of those who attended these meetings that ended after 11 and 11:30, it's pretty brutal. It's 7:30 now, I think we've gone for an hour and a half. You know, for as much as we covered tonight, I think that's pretty darn good. Yes, sir?
One quick item, I do a lot of walking out down the dock. We've recently had that sprayed, they did a really great job. However, the planking on the dock, I think we have some liabilities. Structurally, it'll hold people. I walk down there quite often, particularly the 16-foot, what are they, 4x16s at the very end. But the problem is they're splintering. People that wear Crocs or flip-flops or something, or a sandal, are gonna get a splinter, this 6-inch splitter in their toe. We don't have to replace them this year structurally, but I think from a liability perspective, we have liability.
Yeah, good, I'll go walk it, I live down that way.
You can
You know,
scoop that up between your toenails.
Good, and what's odd is, we used somebody 2 years ago to remodel the dock and repair it, and they did a really good job. And then this time we used somebody different, and I'm not sure why, but, you gotta maintain it. And it is a liability if it's not maintained well, and if we had somebody that did a good job, maybe they were too expensive, I don't know.
I talked to the gentleman this spring, he was down there, and I just said, you need to recommend, there's some planks there that need to be
Well,
replaced.
some people only spray and some people repair and spray, so.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll take a peek at it, we'll be more astute about that in the next go around, for sure. Good, thank you for that. Good.
Kind of to dovetail back and get the next meeting scheduled. Catherine, you think you can have all the stuff we talked about tonight ready so we can go Thursday the 24th? And is that available room-wise or something booked that night?
I will get back to you, but I'll make a note.
Okay, so we're gonna propose that the next board meeting is Thursday the 24th, that's tentative. Days good for me.
I will get back to
Good,
you.
any other comments from the group? Yes, sir.
I'd just like to say hello, I'm Joe with Bricat. And just let the
Hey
board
Joe,
know.
I'm sorry, you're the guys
You
that
got
took
me.
care of the Ivy House, so thank you for doing a great job.
Thank you. I just want to make, and I know you guys are aware, and Catherine's doing a wonderful job of communicating with me. It's imperative that I keep communication with her on that island right there by Heron Point, because the irrigation is not quite exactly how the plans are and the satellites and everything. And the poor guys who were trying to locate these things for the engineers, I approached them and they were definitely digging the wrong place and they had satellite points. The plans for this property were never either recorded at the county, because I tried to get them there, nor does the engineers who provided them have a copy, because I went to them as well. And if they do, they won't communicate with me. My irrigation guys took the time to physically locate a lot of this stuff. And I'm not even an irrigation guy. In 5 minutes, I took those surveyors and I took them 75 feet to 100 feet away from where their satellite points are. And that's how far things are over here. So it's very important that we continue to provide this information to people coming to work on your property when it pertains to irrigation. Because somewhere around 50 to 100 feet in any direction off from any plane or any satellite points that were given in the past. And it's weird, I don't know why, but when I took those guys over there and they took their machinery over there, within 5 minutes they had marked. They were there for a couple hours until I got there. So it's imperative, and I'll keep communication with Catherine, that my irrigation team continues to be involved, because when they start tearing that thing up and they cut those wires, the entire boulevard can be shut off from irrigation. And
Yeah, I was gonna say.
John knows more about this in his background.
Yeah, information is good, so if your guys have got that map, you can help.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
provide that to Catherine, so we can coordinate, that'd be great.
And I did try to go to the engineering company, and maybe the board, maybe Catherine has somebody to go there that got a little more clout. They didn't take me seriously, and I identify myself as the North Shore contractor, and I'm pretty sure they should be able to find something. The county has no documentation of plans. The closest plans we have, and it's fortunate, we communicated with the golf course, and they had what looks like as-built, but they're really not as-built, they're 50 to 100, we tested it. We went and poked and dug, and they're 50 to 100 feet off the marks in any direction.
I'm sorry about that. And-
No, that's okay. Well, reason being is because when we get lightning strikes, it'll take out 10 zones at a time, and through time, all these valves are buried. And this happened last year for the first time, and it took us 2.5 weeks to dig and find these, because over the course of time, the ground, to find, some of these valves are 2 feet on the ground. And when we put our electronic stuff on, well, there's a lot of cable and electric on the ground, it's hard to kind of follow that. So we had to do prehistoric poking, digging, and looking at that plan, and we after 2.5 weeks, we kind of.
So you have a marked up set now that's got some
Yeah,
better information?
well, for the most part, we're still digging on some of them, but the 10 that were out, we were fortunate enough to, and something as simple as a $20 solenoid that goes under the ground is the only thing that has to be replaced when lightning hits. You know, so it's not a major expensive hit.
Just gotta know where to find that.
Just gotta know where to find it. Yes, sir. And I'm sorry I'm taking the time of your meeting but these are important things for the property to know. And that, and I just got an email, and it's been discussed before. The easements going towards Lake Shore, there's no irrigation, that's parallel to the golf course side. And someone's gonna want sod there because they're having a hard time selling their home. And I just got an email, and I know it's gonna come up.
Yeah, those ran on battery power.
I've
Watched for a long time.
Well, the islands do, but I don't think the easements have anything.
Why don't you get with John on this? John
I'll get with John on that,
understands this stuff
so.
really well.
So these things we gotta work on.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, we've challenged our Moen landscaping company to step it up a little bit. There's a new enhanced great communication back and forth. He did a great job in this Ivy House. We wanna see him succeed and do a good job. The other issues is everyone sees it, just like I do. We have an 1.5 inch of rain, and we all drive home and see their damn sprinklers running after an 1.5 inch of rain. We got sprinklers that spray the street, that pressure wash our cars, reclaim water, and he's trying hard to address some of these things and do a great job for us. And I can say so far the conversation and level of work and interest has been exceptional. So
Thank you, sir. And we're gonna look into this reclaimed water stuff. The boulevard's still drawn from the lakes, so that's Lake Watersell. The only places that we're aware of would be the clubhouse, and we have to look at the clubhouse, see where they're spraying, to ensure they're not spraying the cars on the clubhouse. Because that's the only reclamation pipes that are intact, and your pumps are still drawn from the lakes. The islands, and I'll also investigate this, John, the islands, I believe, are still drawn from city water, because there's no purple boxes on your islands. So, and I'll provide this information to Catherine and John, whoever needs it.
John's gonna be your lead for all that
Yes, sir.
structure.
Yes,
Okay, go ahead.
There was work done over there, on the main street water, and then right across, the big pipes that came out. They dug that up, it's all dirt over there. Do you know if they're planning on putting sod over it? I mean, they just dug big holes holes and filled it in with dirt.
That's usually their MO. We'll give Catherine our county commissioner
Is that
contact.
something inside the neighborhood? I mean, we had.
It's out in the
No,
baseball
it's,
area.
it's right
Or the
as you
spot
turn
full
into
of-
Myrtle Creek and into Marsh Pines on both sides.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's where the county,
So good.
so we're just gonna have
Just like the garbage
communication
man.
with the county.
Uh,
Usually they will re-sign when they're done, but we
Okay.
probably need to stay on top of it.
That's the time to do it
for that.
because we're getting rain. So get with Catherine on that. and she'll
Okay.
call the county.
I saw her.
Okay, good. Good. Once we have our communication committee and newsletter going, we're gonna talk to you about the things that we wanna talk about and consider as a community. So some of the suggestions are coming in, like a little sand volleyball court here behind the building, with some of the use of land. We've built this magnificent playground for kids, but the equipment's so hot that they can't use it without burning their little fannies on it. So we wanna provide some sort of shade, whether we go with a sunshade type product, or do we put some trees around it? We've got this whole fence issue to address, and we're gonna take a lot of input back from the community on how to address things like this. We've got big issues like the school traffic and whether we can gate Golf Boulevard or not, and those aren't gonna be quickly or easily handled. But there are a lot of things that we wanna hear communication. We heard a lot of interest in a dog park maybe.
What's,
It's a two-way street, so don't be shy with insight and advice coming. And tell your neighbors. So tell them we got the meeting done in an hour and a half and it was fun and nobody got yelled at. And tell them that we invite and encourage input back to the board, okay?
Very quiet. I just want to compliment the change. I've been here 10 years. I'd say the last 5 or 6 have been rather unpleasant. Not quite sure how people put up with some of the conversations. I think this was pleasant. I think it was done professionally. And it's encouraging to see a board that looks like they take the interest of the community at heart. I compliment all of you.
I second it. I think we've got a really good board. Not all of us are gonna be on here for a lifetime. It's not our goal to make this a permanent fixture of our lives. We wanna do what's right. We wanna bring out exciting, sharp, enthusiastic, really good people. And we've got a bunch. There's so many people that come to us to be involved and to be engaged and to volunteer, that takes pressure off mine. I can't spend 3 hours a day on North Shore at work. But I can say that we're really excited about the community, and we can make this even more preeminent than we are. And hopefully your level of interest and your level of expertise will bring you out to volunteer for something, or maybe be a board member in the future.
Discussed it.
Love to have you. Good. And look, and I apologize, I'm not the Robert Rule of Order aficionado. I think I know how to excite and engage people. I've stumbled along a little bit today. I'd like Catherine to introduce her coworkers and our management staff here before we leave. And this is the way the meetings are gonna go. We're gonna try and make them quick, we're gonna try and make them succinct, we're gonna do what we're legally required to do, but we've gotta get some more enthusiasm and participation in the community for sure. And it could be a heck of a lot of fun. And we could be the place that people really, really wanna live in this side of town, for sure. Good, so thank you for your kind words. And tell your neighbors, we need help. Good. Catherine, go ahead.
Danny Ellis?
Yeah, I'm Danny Ellis. I'm the regional director with First Service. I think I've met all of you guys and been involved almost 2 years with North Shore.
Diana Washburn, Senior Community Association Manager. I was just promoted into my position. I'll be working directly with Danny Ellis and Catherine for this property.
Diana's got 8 years of service with First Service as an on-site manager. So she'll bring a lot of expertise and support to what we need to do around here as well. So.
Yeah, I'm not gonna miss any words. For those of you who haven't gotten to interact with Catherine and Diana yet, it is a world difference than their predecessors for all the years that I've been here 10 years. I've lived in this neighborhood 28 years, my entire adult life. I've lived out here in Moss Park, but Catherine and Diana have shown a level of enthusiasm and interest that we really want and need, and frankly, Danny require here. And you come in, their doors are open, they encourage you to come and talk to them. If she's not in the middle of some critical thing, you can interrupt her and she'll attend to your needs. And Diana is just a miniature replication of her. We got a great attendant at the pool, Chris, who's chased, I think, 40 people out the first week that don't live, crashing our pool, attended some basketball courts. And if anybody has a negative reaction dealing with our staff, and come and tell one of our members. But I don't think you'll ever feel like you're interrupting them, and they're not excited to have you come and engage with them. It's a whole different level of atmosphere, and I'm really, really happy and proud of this.
Thank you.
So, well, thank you. Good, so super. Good, have a great night. Meeting is adjourned.